Hallelujah. 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 We thank God for giving us the grace to hear from his word. The word of the day speaks from Jeremiah chapter 10, I'll read from verses 1 and 2. What's interesting, God gives the instruction to Israel and says, do not walk in the way of the heathen. Now, what's interesting about the devil, he's not too concerned about getting his hands dirty when it comes to the work of destruction, but he's rather a great investor and a great recruiter. In his investment, we hear that he's the dragon of the air, and he's the serpent of the earth, and the Leviathan of the sea. We heard that also in the second lesson that he is the prince of the air, bringing about a airborne word that comes with a wind of doctrine to turn the hearts of the children of God away from their God. We heard that he's a great recruiter. He looks for those who have a prideful heart to now be the forerunners in the race to deceive the children of God. We hear that in Psalms 1, any person or anyone who is now an influence of the devil will now walk in the counsel of the ungodly, who will now walk after the advice of their friends, who will now seek the advice of the world, of the news, of social media. And then he goes on to say that those who are influenced by the devil or influenced by the world will now stand in sin, stand in the way of sin, of the way of the sinners. In other words, those who will stand in the popular culture of this world. Then he goes on to say that he takes it further and be said that they will have a seat in the seat of their scornful. Those who will become influencer because they have a word that will begin to cause influence in the minds of the children of God. But for us now, we must understand you must stay in your lane, because your lane is determines the race and the prize. But those who are equipped with the heart of wickedness, their race is fast, but their prize is a slow fall to shame. But we must stay in our lane. But how does one stay in their lane? It is by the hearing of his word, the word to hear his voice, and the heart to accept his word, to keep his word. And that gives us the grace, the ability to carry out the race. The G in the race, God in the race. But for us, are we staying in our lane? Or do we have the eye of pride that seeks other things that are outside the lane of God? Because every lane is linked to your purpose. Every lane is linked to the truth. Every lane is linked to your God. But those who do not stay in their lane are those who will become forerunners of destruction. Now, question is, are you running a three-legged race? Have you acquainted yourself with pride, with deceit, with fear, with doubt, with anxiety? Does it not allow you to now carry out the race that comes by grace, that leads us to the prize, that leads us to peace, that leads us to the expected end that God has for you and I? But it all begins with you staying in your lane, staying in the position God has called you to be in, and not to be one who has forgotten your prize, who has forgotten the vision and the purpose which God has called you. Because God says in the second lesson that out of the abundance, the richness of his love, he has called us unto himself to have a relationship. But for those who have a relationship with God are those who have forsaken their distractions, who have forsaken the influences of this world. As we are in the pandemic, there are many channels where the devil has now operated as he operated with the air and operated on the earth and operated in the sea. He has operating systems to influence the minds of the children of God to disobey and not follow the instruction. And now God's given us the instruction today to not follow the heathen. Do not follow in their mentality. Do not follow in their reason or thinking, because their lane is only built for destruction. So my prayer is that God will allow us to have the grace to run the race, but stay in your lane. God bless you.